Hi, it's Alita.
And Gabriella.
And we're a Tale of Two Readers.
Today we're going to be doing a currently reading / what we recently read. And we're just going to be kind of talking about all of our books and having a little discussion. We have our tea too, our matching mugs.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could remember the name of this potter. I know she is on Facebook. If you are interested, just ask me below.
Yeah, we'll link her down below.
Yeah, and I'll link her. But she makes beautiful stuff.
Yeah, so since we last talked, I've barely read. I'm doing a ton of reading for school. So I finished Moo. It was okay. It got a little better, definitely, than the beginning, because I think last time I talked about it on a video, I had read the first 12 chapters, and there was zero plot. And there was a small plot by the end. I still felt like it wasn't really central. And I'm actually currently reading a book called Joe College for the same class, and that's by Tom Perrotta. And it's kind of giving me the same vibe, where it's like the plot is so small, and like the characters, it's like definitely more of a character study, which usually I like, but I feel like maybe it's just not well done. Like maybe my professor's just not good at picking books.
Or
I don't know.
The opposite taste.
She was gonna pick The Secret History, which is kind of, yeah, I know. I've read, and that's kind of the same way, where it's a lot of focus on the characters, but that's an example of it being like really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And these books are just like not doing it for me. But anyway, I finished Moo. It was okay. I think I gave it like 2 stars, honestly, which isn't it's not like I hate it. It just wasn't for me, like at all. So that's
what was
one
it
book
about?
It's literally just about a university and like all the faculty and staff and students that are there, how they're all connected. And the like plot that kind of runs through it all is this, it's like one of the last virgin rainforests in Costa Rica is going to be destroyed. And it's kind of like how the university is tied into that. And it has a lot of like different theme work with like corporate sponsorships for education and like, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. What about you?
Okay, so I finally finished Poet X.
Ah!
Oh my god, so good. It was so beautifully written.
She's amazing.
She really is an amazing writer.
Yeah.
And an amazing poet.
Yes.
And I loved a lot of the characters in this book. Her brother was...
Oh my
her
gosh.
brother also twin?
Yeah.
She's a twin, and she calls him twin. And...
That's something that Elizabeth does, is like, she has her main characters call other characters just by like their like familial
definition for
yeah.
her.
Yeah, I love that. It's so cute. Did you cry? Was it like,
I didn't cry, but there's one part that really pissed me off, and that was when she... Should I say spoilers ahead or something? Or
yeah, spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead. When she gets her period, like, she doesn't even know what to do. Like,
I
her
forgot
mother,
about that.
Yeah, her mother never told her about, like, what to do. She knew about menstruation, but, like, her mother never told her that she had to, like, you know, get sanitary napkins or, you know, tampons.
And didn't she say something terrible about tampons, too?
Well, she went out and got tampons because that's all she knew.
Yep.
And then she got home and her mother, like beat her and told her that tampons are for whores or whatever, and she could only wear pads, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I think in this case, Xiomara's mother was really concerned about her virginity and making sure she doesn't get pregnant and doesn't make her look like a whore. Like her mom was big with this. She's really, you know, religious and all that stuff. But it wasn't like she certainly wasn't concerned about Xiomara herself. She was really concerned about, I guess, her own reputation and, you know, whether she got knocked up or whatever. But it was just so horrible. Like, she's just... And then at one point she finds out that Xiomara, like, kissed a boy, and it got back to her, and, like, she beat the shit out of her.
So hard to read that.
Oh, my God. And then she made her... This is something that I'm familiar with because my mother used to tell me about it at the time. Like, the nuns my mom went to, you know, we all went to parochial school, but the nuns used to make them kneel on rice as a punishment.
I had never heard of that before.
Yeah. So she made her kneel on the rice for so long, like her legs were like swollen, like her knees were swollen. It was like this woman was such a freaking animal. And
crazy.
what was the other thing that she did? Oh,
When she burned her journal?
yes.
Yeah.
That's
when I started to cry.
Yeah. Even her brother was like looking on like, oh my God. And like, he was another one that feared their mother. So like, he just seemed like he didn't dare kind of step in and stick up for her.
Yeah.
But
the scene when they were both just like yelling at each other, like she was yelling her poems at her mom and her mom was like screaming scripture at her.
Right.
I had chills. Like that was just so intense.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
It was so great to hear her just
finally like just stand up and be like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
good for her. But yeah, I loved it. She's a great character. Her poetry was amazing, as I said. And she does get some help in the end. She breaks down and tells a teacher that, you know, her mom is abusive and what's going on. And so the teacher comes to talk to the family, and then they, you know, eventually talk to the pastor, and he kind of serves as like a family therapist.
Yeah, I was happy that he finally like intervened in like a more real way than what he had been doing.
Yeah, because he had been more strictly
passive,
I think that's because her mother was such a huge part of the church, so he didn't want to rock the boat there. But
definitely.
But yeah, it was really beautiful. Mm-hmm. So go out and support your poetry, people. I wish there was a slam around here.
I know,
because
I was just gonna say that.
I would love to sit in and do the.
Yeah, I know there's some stuff in Philly. I think
we should do that one day.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun. If we do that, we'll bring you guys with us.
Yes, a vlog, a poetry vlog.
Yep.
So I actually have only finished the one book since our last check-in, so
okay.
You can just continue.
So the other book I just finished was is Permanent Record by Edward Snowden, which was amazing. Oh, yeah. If you don't know, he's the one who sent to the press this information about how the NSA is collecting all of our private emails, videos, chats, phone calls, everything that we look up on the internet, everything that we video, and it's being stored, it's being kept. As you all know, he left when he met in Hong Kong. He met the reporters in Hong Kong and his attorneys and everything. What he wanted to do was go into exile in Ecuador because they have I forget what year he said, but anyway, they had this economist president, or maybe had this economist president, who said if there's any odious debt, we're cleared of it. He cited America as someone who placed this odious debt on Ecuador, therefore they're not, it was wiped clean, they're not responsible for it anymore. So they would be the most welcoming of someone who was an American, descent in the eyes of in the eyes of the government. So he's trying to get from Hong Kong to Ecuador, and he flies into Russia, and of course he gets stopped, and that's when the U.S. government nullifies his passport. So that's why he is still in Russia today, and he is living with his wife, who was his girlfriend. But it was just a really well told story. I think that.
Did he write Permanent Record?
He wrote it.
Okay, so
and
it's like
he
an
read
auto...
it. Yeah.
Oh, the audiobook?
Yep, he read it. It was the audiobook, yeah. It was really good. And he's just such a sweet... apart from being, I think, someone with tremendous morals and...
Yeah, so brave.
Yeah, that's he's got balls. He's also just a really sweet guy. And I think that's all I have finished.
Okay, I feel a lot better about my one book, knowing that you only have two.
I only finished two.
Okay.
But, we're both multi-readers, so it's not like we read a book, finish it, and then talk about it.
Yeah, I have 4 other books going on right now.
Yeah, me too. So...
Should we get into those a little bit?
Okay. So, as I talked about before, I have Disappearing Earth, which I thought I was going to ditch because when I started it, it really sucked. But I said, let me give it a chance. And I did, and it turns out to be really good. It's good! Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised because it got some great reviews, but I was like, really, I don't want to
Bad
like I
beginnings.
hate having to read things because they got great reviews and I feel like I have to like it, you know.
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. But so these two little girls are kidnapped in Russia, and it's like in the far eastern Russia, like right above China. During the Soviet era, you know, it was supposedly better, and it was, you know, it was a wonderful place to grow up in, no crime or anything. And then now they have this kidnapping, and what happens is they go from different women who live in Kamchatka. So it's like a peninsula coming off at the end of the
This is a real place?
Russia, yeah.
Okay.
And so little things happen after they're gone. They're pretty much gone at this point. I'm still reading it, so I don't know whatever happens to them. But then they talk about like these other people and how like these other kids and how it affects them, or how their parents, you know, where they want them to be and to make sure that they're safe and everything. And also this came across my desk, Women Talking. It's really it has a really interesting premise. So it's a group of Mennonite. It's like a Mennonite group that lives somewhere in South America, and they only speak. It's not Pennsylvania Dutch, but it's like another type of German dialect. And what happens is these women are waking up with bruises, bleeding, they're in pain, and they don't know what happened. They don't understand what happened. So I'm not really giving anything away, because right in the beginning, they tell you what's been going on is there are about 8 men who are drugging these women and little girls, and they're raping them all night, and then they put them back in their bed, or they just do it in you know, the victim's bed. So this is the women, by the way, are not literate, so they ask one of the men to take notes on their meeting about
Oh my gosh, that's
what
so
they're going to do.
That's so scary.
Meeting.
So, I think in our last video, I mentioned that I was reading Woman Code, still reading that, and also still reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yes.
I'm almost done that. I have like 20 pages left. I'm wearing my Hufflepuff shirt in honor of Cedric. May he rest in peace. That's not even a spoiler because everybody's read Harry Potter, right?
I don't even know who Cedric is.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
I mean, I've seen all the movies. I read like 4 of the books, but what you have to understand is like I was in my 30s when these came out.
Okay, well, I feel like at the end of the 4th book is kind of when things like shift from like more of like a children's book to like more serious. So yeah, I stayed up late last night reading that because I was just like sucked in, and I have 20 pages left. But yeah, so I thought this would be fitting today. I mentioned Joe College, I'm reading for school, don't really have anything to say about that. And then I am halfway through The Stand by Mr. Stephen King, one of Aleda's recommendations, and I am loving it. Unfortunately, my audiobook, I was like listening on Libby and it expired, so I have to wait like 8 weeks to get it back, and I'm at the halfway point. Things are like really like happening now, so that kind of sucks. But we were just talking about like all the characters. There's so many characters in that book.
Yeah.
But he does it so well.
He's definitely a character-driven author.
Yes. It's not what I was expecting, but I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely not scary. There were some moments in the beginning when the sickness was taking over that were like, I don't even know how to explain them. Like kind of like just gritty to read about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever like scary or super suspenseful or anything. But I'm really enjoying it.
I think there are a couple scary parts coming.
Okay.
But it's really more. It's kind of like the story is really kind of interesting. It's not just like a simple story. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of a, you know, it's the stand. They have to take a stand. So
I'm foreseeing some sort of like showdown.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of say that in the synopsis, like it's all leading towards this showdown. So,
but The Stand is like one of my top 10 favorites,
really,
like, of all time. Oh,
really?
Yeah, of all time, yeah. and I predict that Stephen King will be that author that will be assigned to students like 100 years from now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna, I think he's like our Dickens, and I know I might get a lot of shit about that, but he
Controversial.
is, yeah. But he's very similar to Dickens.
Yeah.
Dickens was kind of read in short spurts and chapters, like in magazines, and
I can definitely see like The Stand being a good book for that too. If it wasn't so freaking long, it would be really good for like school. It is so long. It's like over 1,000 pages.
Long. But it was that book was the first time that I cried when it was over.
Really?
Because I had become so attached to the character.
To Stu.
That I thought, I love Stu. I had become so attached to them that I felt that they had died. I felt like my best friends had died, so it was really hard for me.
That's a hard feeling.
It's just like you have to tell your brain they didn't exist at all.
Yeah, and I can always just go back and reread it, and they'll be there again. But it's hard when you like finish.
Oh my god,
I've had that before.
I felt like such a loss. But yeah, so
yeah,
I'm so excited that Gabby's reading it, and I can't, like when she first started reading, I'm like, okay, who have you met?
Yeah.
All right, so where are they now? Like,
today she was like asking me everything, but she doesn't want to say anything because she doesn't want to
give anything away.
So I'm just like trying to tell like all the details of where I'm at. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought.
Excited.
And the audiobook's pretty good. I don't know who narrates it.
Huh.
I'll have to look it up.
I read it. Is it abridged or unabridged? It's unabridged.
Unabridged.
Okay, good.
So yeah,
I'm so excited that she's reading it. You always whenever somebody reads one of your favorite books, you're like, oh.
You like want them to love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be in my top 10, but I'm definitely really enjoying it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's everything that I'm reading and have read recently.
Me too. I think we're all caught up.
There's our little wrap up. So now you guys know where we're at. It's not going great. We're kind of slow, but we're reading really good stuff.
We are. I've been really lucky. Like I hate it when I'm in a slump, so I was really excited about Snowden and Poet X because it got me excited. To look forward to reading my book. But yeah. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up.
Leave us a like, subscribe if you want, maybe a comment. Whatever you're feeling, and we'll see you in our next video. Peace.